Hello and welcome back to All Influencer Wrestling.
The following is scheduled for one fall, making her way to the ring from Canada, Mac Lane.
As always, you are listening to the dulcet tones of your clout missioner, Captain Tyrion Guidal, kicking things off. A matchup I don't believe we've seen here in AIW thus far. Michaela Lane taking on Candy Holiday. A very, very scrappy fight ahead of us between these two competitors. I still want to know where she got those fire things from. I don't trust her with them. She's going to burn the ship down. Again. A competitor that is about as cool as Mac wishes she was. Candy Holiday making her way down to the ring. Candy teaming last week with her tag partner, her Royal Highness Ginger Flame, she who sings on the graves of her enemies, was not able to advance to the Drama Bomb ladder match. Out to try to get some momentum back here against Mac. The Ginger Flame, of course, in action later on tonight, handpicked by Jennifer Storio as her tag partner, will be facing Glix and Aria Nightvalley. The winning team's partner will get a shot at the Rivals Championship at the Drama Bomb Showcase. And here we go, locking up in the middle of the ring. Candy with those vicious knee strikes immediately taking advantage. Mac down to the mat, raining the clubbing blows in on the head of Michaela Lane. And up, and we've seen that move to great effect before. Pinballing off the ropes, giant forearm from Candy, who's looking to put this away immediately. Mac kicks out at one. Bold move there, trying to end things very quickly as Candy, but it takes a lot more than that to keep Michaela down. Will that do it though? Draping knee by Candy, also only good for a one. Mac rolling out of the way, clubbing clothesline there. I think she caught Candy right in the throat. And now strike intercepted by Candy. Well versed in that leg-based offense. Saw that coming from Mac a mile away. I think we're going for another draping knee strike. There we are. Trying to damn near take Mac's jaw off at this point. Another boot to that jaw. Another pinfall attempt by Candy. 2 count this time. Mac still hanging in there. Candy really working the head of Mac in this match. And it goes for big running kick. Damn near punted Mac's head into the audience. Candy piping up in the ring as Mac rolls out to try and remember where the hell she is. Candy up and over, and my God, what a maneuver there. Takes Mac down to the deck. Aerial agility by Candy, who is out with something to prove tonight. Mac debating her move here, going back into the ring. And back out, just breaking the ref's count. Gave Candy time to recover, who is back with those punches. Mac able to wriggle the way out of that suplex attempt. Went for one of her own. Thought better of it, and just punch her straight in the face. Not really unexpected there, Mac, considering going technical and then just like, nah, punch him. Candy able to reverse slap. Elbow strikes from Mac to the head of Candy. Starting to get a bit of momentum herself going. Candy knocked down to the floor. Mac going back in once again, breaking that ref's count. This time, maybe just considering, haunting Candy, who is desperately trying to recover on the outside. Candy rolls back in, breaking the count. Mac there, ready and waiting. Wrenching the arm, trying to break those vicious elbow strikes of Candy. What's Mac got in mind now? Trying to size up Candy, goes for another kick, and hook. And over she goes. I think she lost a little bit of grip on Candy there in the air. Center slamming down to the mat. 1-2. Candy able to kick out at 2. Starting to get a little more competitive back and forth now. Can Mac keep the pressure up on Candy? She keeps on like that. She absolutely will. Going for the... I thought she was going for an abdominal stretch. Up and down she goes. Good night, Candy. 2. Candy barely getting the arm there up for that 3 count. And she is not happy. Pulls Mac back up to the feet. What does Candy have in mind now? Mac wants no part of it, trying to get away, but just big blow there. Candy going up to the top rope now. Back for those aerial maneuvers. And stomp off the top. Both feet landing directly on Mac's rib cage. But still only a 2 count. Candy psyching herself up. Tried to go for another aerial maneuver there, I think. Mac able to get hold of her in time. Sends her into the ropes and clothesline from Mac. Going for a pin off that. Bold move, but maybe it'll pay off for her. Only a 2 for Candy. It's going to take more than just a clothesline to keep Candy down. Boot to the spine. Rolls out the way from another. She did not want to feel that again. Mac able to break that grapple attempt. Once again, working that left arm. Candy, though, free arm, punches her in the face. And again, Candy just lighting Mac up in the middle of the ring. Going for a charge. Tried to duck out the way, but too fast by Michaela. Another clothesline attempt. Candy rolling to the outside. Tries to recover. Mac's up on top now. What does she have in mind? Giant knee strike from the top rope on Mac this time. Mac working in a submission maneuver there in on Candy. Not necessarily the most intelligent move from Mac, given that you cannot be submitted outside of the ring, but that's not exactly unexpected from Mac. And just taking a moment to taunt to the crowd instead of capitalizing on that handiwork. Candy able to break that grapple attempt. Sends Mac back into the ring. What does Candy have in mind? Back in, waiting. Michaela missed that attempt. Candy with the lockup, and boom, down goes Mac headfirst into the canvas. Is that going to be enough? Nope. Kicks out at 2. Double drop kick to the back of the head. What does Candy have in mind now? Just disrespect to Mac now. Just draping the arm up. Slow boots to the head. And up she goes. And go to sleep, Michaela. 1, 2, that's going to be it. Lights out for Michaela Lane. Candy takes the win. Mac struggling back to her feet, and Battlestar heading out to confront Mac. Does Val think Michaela had something to do with what happened to her the other week? Interesting confrontation off the back of Candy's victory. Battlestar seems to have Michaela in her sights. We'll figure out later on exactly what's going on with that. But we will be right back with more action here on All Influencer Wrestling after these short messages. Hi, I'm Captain Tyrion Guidel, most dashingly handsome pirate in all of Loomsdalaminster, and the Clout Missioner of All Influencer Wrestling. As a swashbuckling pirate, I know a thing or two about hats. And sometimes, even I feel the hats I own are just too big. So when I feel the need for minuscule millinery, there's only one place that comes to mind. TinyHatLabs.com. Tiny Hat Labs have always sought to push the boundaries of what's possible in client engagement millinery feedback solutions. Their guiding question remains the same today as it was when they were founded. What if small hat, but tiny? Operating at the nexus of science, engineering, artificial intelligence, art, fashion and design, Tiny Hat Labs seeks to pave the way to a paradigm shift in headpiece technology. While others ask, how much? TinyHatLabs.com asks, how little? I'm Captain Tyrion Guidel, and TinyHatLabs.com is my favourite place for hats on the internet. Okay, I just murdered Vegeta with a truck. What the hell is this game? And she came down the stairs, breast in boobily.
I wasn't ready. Woo, that was good.
Nope. I looked at the map, went, where's the boss? Oh, it's that way, and immediately went in the wrong direction. If that is not a perfect example of my sense of direction, I don't know what is. You're the new farmer. I see. No offense, but you look like you've never held a tool in your life. Excuse me, Jim. I am well adept at holding my tool. Thank you very much.
The Flow Guardian, not me.
The God Emperor made me do it!
The God Emperor made me do it. Yes. Oh, can I get away with yelling that in real life, please? Welcome back. More singles action up next as Saria Violet is in action, taking on the Mother of Pain.
Scheduled for one fall, making her way to the ring from overseas, Violet.
We also now have a little more information on that interesting showdown between Battlestar Galactica and Mac. We're not entirely certain where she got her information from, but Val certainly seems to have it in their head that Mac had something to do with the hold person ability spell that was cast on Battlestar during her Drama Bomb qualifier match that caused her to fail to advance. Mac retaliating, getting back up in Val's face. Protestations of innocence falling on deaf ears. We now have a match on tonight's card.
And from New York, MJ.
As we see the Mother of Pain making her way down to the ring. Little more chaotic of a competitor than what Saria may be used to. She just dives past her there. After this, we will be now having a match between Battlestar and Michaela. Val calling out Mac. Mac protesting her innocence. A no-holds-barred match will be up after this. Battlestar Galactica taking on Michaela Lane. Val trying to quite literally eat the information out of Mac. But for now, Saria, who has not been having the greatest of luck here in AIW. Oh, we saw a double kick attempt from them, both defending against the other. A clash of styles not expected against the Mother of Pain. Big, swinging, climbing DDT, that bouncy, rubber-like offense we've seen from MJ so often in all her matches here in AIW. Working over the arm, trying to take out those deadly strikes of our Sun Soul Monk. The Mother of Pain looking to absolutely eclipse Saria in this match, and doing a fairly solid job of it thus far, must be said. Saria Violet thus far not having an answer at all for the Mother of Pain. Refs coming in for the count 1. Saria able to kick out at just a 1 count. But still very much feeling it, nursing those ribs there. Mother of Pain vaulting up to the top rope. And big senton bomb off the top. Landed, got all of that. Saria desperately trying to crawl to her feet. The Mother of Pain, though, is waiting right there. Hoisting Saria up to the top now. Saria able to get that kick into the face. Roundhouse almost lost her balance on it. Mother of Pain again, though, big swinging head scissors. Not able to get any momentum going as Saria Violet at this point. And again, putting all of that weight down onto the arm of Violet. Oh, got the knees up for that one, though. Is that going to be the shift in momentum that Saria so desperately needs? Big roundhouse kick to the back of the head. That, going for a pinfall off of that. Sometimes that's all it takes. 2. Only got a 2 count on it, though. When you're facing somebody with the striking ability of Saria Violet, though, 1 blow can be all it takes. She knows those pressure points extremely well. 1 roundhouse kick to the right part of the head, and it'll be lights out. Catching Mother of Pain, and there she goes. Saria down to the mat once again. Swift, methodical strikes don't necessarily work so well against a competitor like the Mother of Pain. When getting your hands on her just means she's going to bounce around and do something else. And just send Saria completely over the rope. And my God, swinging head scissors through the ropes. Both of them meeting in the air on that one. I am genuinely not certain the Mother of Pain is not legitimately made out of rubber. Landing a Canadian destroyer on the outside, taunting to the crowd. I think she may be able to just leave Saria and go for a counter victory at this point, but doesn't look like she's really interested in that. Pulls her opponent back into the ring, dives in herself after. Vaulting back over the top rope, the boundless energy still on display. What does she have in mind here? Planting Saria headfirst down onto the mat, staring up at the lights. 2 stunned and puts her away for the 3 count. Another loss for Saria Violet and another win under the belt of the Mother of Pain, continuing to prove herself one of the hardest to predict competitors in the entire promotion. A valiant attempt at fighting back mid-match there by Saria Violet, but as has been the case with so many, simply could not find an answer for MJ Fairhaven. Absolutely nobody as of yet being up to the task of mastering this opponent. But after that match, we will be back shortly for that no-holds-barred match I just mentioned. Battlestar Galactica versus Michaela Lane. We'll be right back.
Luz tried everything to open the door, but it wouldn't budge. Hammers, axes, magic, saws, more magic, fire, even more magic, and magic explosions. Still, the door refused her. Why? After all this time and effort, why wouldn't the damn thing open? Sure, it was an enchanted door that would open the path to a potentially catastrophic amount of magic pouring back into the universe, causing endless natural disasters that would drown or bury most cities from existence. But there was an equally high chance that wouldn't happen, and that the magic had been sealed away by ignorant fools for nothing. She had to believe there was a reason why she could tap into a sliver of the magic locked behind the door. That this was it, her singular life purpose. Open the door. Restore its magic back to everyone like it used to be in the stories, where anyone could use magic, for good or bad. That had to be it, right? That had to be why she was standing here, in the door's pocket dimension, on a small plot of Earth, large enough for only one person to stand in front of it, swearing at this void-black door with iridescent veins flowing along its surface like water, living, taunting her to just open it already. So why was it so hard to swing the damn thing wide? Somehow, she had shoved the door apart just a crack ages ago. A thin, wispy line of light seeped out of a seam down the centre. Whenever she used teleportation magic, as she had decided to call it since she didn't know the correct term and hadn't seen others use it before, probably because it was dangerous and required sliding through space and time, but who was counting? She tapped into a sliver of warmth and power to travel wherever she wished. She'd managed that slight opening unthinking as a child, then never again. What was she doing wrong now? Worse, what if she wasn't doing anything wrong? What if this door wasn't meant to open for her after all? What else could there be for her but this? After everything, after all that searching, what else could there be?
This has been an extract from The Void Door by V.M. Ayala. To read the full story, please visit beneath-ceaseless-skies.com and search for issue 378. And thank you for watching Masterpiece Theatre.
Battlestar Galactica, I think maining her way to answers.
Holds guard match. Making her way to the ring, representing Chaos from Valhalla, the Tank.
Calling Mac out like this is going to be an interesting maneuver for Battlestar. No holds barred, definitely leaning well into Val's annoyance, frustration at wanting to find out who interfered with her chances. But this is a match stipulation which works very well for Michaela. A scrappy, vicious fighter willing to use any advantage at her disposal. And the type who doesn't take well to being confronted. Battlestar's approach here, for somebody like Mac, take it from me, with my long history of knowing her, this is probably the worst possible way to go about getting an answer from Mac. But here she comes again. Still recovering from that opening bout where she lost to Candy Holiday. But she's here and she's ready to fight. She does not know how to back down. The question as yet unanswered. Why does Battlestar think Mac had anything to do with what happened to him? There's clearly some information that Battlestar has been able to get her hands on. Was unwilling to let us know backstage prior to this match. Locking up, Val ducking out of the way. Going for that blow to Mac, punching in the face, just kicks. And immediately hoists her up. What on earth is Battlestar doing here? Look at the way she's just got Mac wrenched across her back like that. Mac desperately trying to power out, able to counter. What a maneuver there from Battlestar. Mac countering. Clubbing blow to the spine of Battlestar. And up and tried to hoist Val up in the air and counter. Val having absolutely none of it. Back elbow countered out and back across the knee she goes. Not the usual way that Michaela likes to wind up along over a tall person's knee. Right down, Battlestar not letting go of that grip on Mac. Another clothesline, she's still got that grip locked in. Hoists her back up and down again, a third clothesline. And just spinning Michaela around and around. Val is fired up right now. Boot to the face repeatedly. And again, I think Val just kneeing Mac in the face. She may be out cold. We don't usually see Val go up top. Giant elbow drop to the spine. She cleared a good 2/3 of the ring with that one. Now that is what I call going to space. Continuing to not let up. Boot to the inner thigh. Driving the knee down into the canvas. Mac trying to roll out to the side. Val's now going for some sort of weapon under the ring. That's not a weapon. Val's pulled out the table. Mac able to get some degree of control back in, but Val waiting there into the ring. Up she goes, over the shoulder, and bouncing off the top rope. Goes for the pinfall. Only a 2 count. Mac still in the match. Another knee. I don't know that Mac has even landed more than a blow on Battlestar at this point. She is out for revenge, out for blood. Just bear hug, crushing the ribs of Michaela. Able to fight her way out. Can she get any kind of momentum going? A clothesline sends Battlestar down. Another ducks under, bouncing off the rope, and a flying one. Mac finally with some form of offense getting opened up here. Hoists Val back up and again working that spine. Boot to the face. What does Mac have in mind? Tying up the arm. And, oh, I think I know what Mac's got in mind here. And, oh, thought she was going for the finger snap, but instead, 2 knees right to the spine. What does Mac now have in mind? Is she going back for that same table? Nope, she's going out for a weapon of her own. It's steel chair time. Mac knowing she needs a equalizer here and crack. Just daring Battlestar to get back up. This is what Mac needed. Working over the knees, the limbs. Look at how dented and battered that chair is. And slams Val down into the mat. Is that going to do it? Is Mac going to... Mac puts away Battlestar. The furious tank not able to get that victory over Michaela. Mac fighting to prove her innocence here. What is that going to mean for Battlestar? What is that going to mean for any information she's able to get out of Mac once cooler heads? Will they prevail? Will these two now be able to have an actual conversation and see what is going on? That chair still lying there destroyed in the middle of the ring. Val unable to focus, charging through Michaela, takes the loss. We're going to find out more, speaking with them after that, what is going to happen from here on out. We will, of course, get back and let you know. We'll be right back, though, with more action here on All Influencer Wrestling, right after these messages. Suplex the train! Himbo power! Come on. Need to pop more potions. Meteor strike! Oh, I can't suplex... Oh, yeah, that's right. I can suplex a train, but I can't suplex an octopus. And here is our octopus friendo. Can I suplex an octopus? Nope. Can't suplex an octopus, turns out. Too slippery. Can I suplex Ultima Weapon? So going to start chucking some shuriken. I can suplex Ultima Weapon. Come on. We're so close. Lift. Come on, Sabin. Come on.
Hi, I'm Captain Tyrion Guidel, most dashingly handsome pirate in all of Minster, and the Clout Missioner of all Influencer Wrestling. As a swashbuckling pirate, I know a thing or two about hats. And sometimes, even I feel the hats I own are just too big. So when I feel the need for minuscule millinery, there's only one place that comes to mind. TinyHatLabs.com. Tiny Hat Labs have always sought to push the boundaries of what's possible in client engagement millinery feedback solutions. Their guiding question remains the same today as it was when they were founded. What if small hat, but tiny? Operating at the nexus of science, engineering, artificial intelligence, art, fashion and design, Tiny Hat Labs seeks to pave the way to a paradigm shift in headpiece technology. While others ask, how much? TinyHatLabs.com asks, how little? I'm Captain Tyrion Guidel, and TinyHatLabs.com is my favourite place for hats on the internet.
Tag action up next as our Soul Clout champion Glix makes her way to the ring.
Introducing first, from Chroma City, the prestigious Internet Champion, the Superstar.
Glix and Jeneth both hand-picking at their opponents, or their tag partners, excuse me, in this match. Glix teaming with Aria, and Jeneth teaming with Her Royal Highness the Ginger Flame, she who sings on the graves of her enemies, in this ladder match. Whichever team wins this match, the non-champion on the team will get a shot against the opponent's team's champion.
And from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, Lady Winter.
Aria has had her sights set on that $1 million championship held by Jeneth for a very, very long time. Will this be the opportunity she wants? Of course, this match being an excellent preview for those two Drama Bomb ladder matches. These will work the exact same way. The bomb briefcase will be suspended above the ring, just as that briefcase for this match is currently. One of the 8 competitors in both of those matches will be the holder of the Drama Bomb. And here she comes, Her Royal Highness, the Ginger Flame, he who sings on the graves of her enemies. Proved her worth as a tag partner in numerous successful outings with her team partner Candy Holiday. How is she going to fare with Jeneth Astorio in her corner? ever-confident Ginger Flame. She would love to get her hands on that Sold Clout title around Glix's waist.
And from parts unknown, the Internet's Honor Champion,
Jennifer Astoria, victorious in the tournament to crown our inaugural $1 Zillion champion. She has held on to it, galvanized her reign, a dominant force in the ring. Potentially, this team at an advantage. You have to imagine the sheer height advantage that Jennifer and Ginger Flame hold, especially over Glix, will work in their favor in a ladder match. But the Chromatic Druid, not one to be underestimated. And here we go. Both immediately starting out going for Jennifer. Not the worst idea in the world, but the Ginger Flame, they're immediately able to take advantage. Cracks Glix down over the knee while Jennifer is just absolutely dominating Aria there over in the corner. Jennifer and Ginger Flame very much dominant, although Aria able to counter, and now just double teaming. Glix able to get back into the mix. Up and down goes the Ginger Flame, as Jennifer just slings Aria around like a bag of luggage. Glix able to dodge out of the way. Big boots to the head of the Ginger Flame. Jennifer is right there to make her suffer for it, though. Ginger Flame looks like maybe going out for that ladder, wants to end this very early on. Just letting Jennifer take control of the match whilst she brings up the ladder. Not the worst strategy in mind. Aria, though, meanwhile, going for another ladder of her own. And now Aria and Glix dominant. Aria going for a submission maneuver on the Ginger Flame. Won't do any good to win this match, as Jennifer cracks Glix down, spine landing on that ladder. But as I was saying, that maneuver there by Aria, not going towards a tap-out victory to win the match, but damaging the legs of Ginger Flame will make it harder for her to climb the ladder, so there is some strategy there. Jennifer taking a moment to recover back into the ring. And look at that double team offense there by Glix, sending Jennifer down so that Aria can then do a spanning maneuver on top of her. Worked out well, but takes a lot more than that to keep Jennifer Astoria down for long. And now they're sending Aria down to the mat. Glix and Ginger Flame both desperately trying to recover on the outside. Ginger Flame just sneaking around as Glix goes for yet another ladder. Glix clearly here has in mind a 12-step plan to victory, but the Ginger Flame putting paid to that, sending her down onto the ship's decking. Now again a 2-on-1 situation, but Jennifer right back up again. What's Jennifer got in mind? Just hoying Glix right out of the ring. Sets up the ladder in the corner. What does she have in mind here? As we have a 4th ladder pulled out. That one's significantly taller. Oh, what does Glix have it? She set that up as a bridge between the announce desk and the ring. I suspect Glix has a plan in mind for that, but it's going to take more than that to get that enacted. And onto the ring, that plan backfired. Jennifer seeing the opportunity, taking advantage, sending Glix spine first onto that suspended ladder. I don't know what Glix had in mind for it, but it wasn't that. She tries to recover on the outside while Aria's getting just worked over by both Jeneth and the Ginger Flame. Excuse me. Aria's down. Glix able to work her way out of that grapple by Ginger Flame, but didn't do her any good. Jeneth sending her down to the outside. I think a little bit of a miscommunication there by Jeneth and Ginger Flame, but Aria back on the feet. And Jeneth just inflicting more punishment on Lady Nightvalley. Meanwhile, running neckbreaker from the Ginger Flame to Glix. These two completely dominating this ring, trying to clear it. Bit of a problem there. Again, maybe a miscommunication between Jeneth and Ginger Flame. Ginger Flame trying to set the ladder up to go for the briefcase to win, but Jeneth was too busy in the middle of the ring inflicting punishment on Aria. And good night, Ginger Flame. And now down goes Jeneth. Glix is fired up right now. But Ginger Flame's prone body right underneath that briefcase. Won't be able to set the ladder up with her there. Somebody's going to have to do something about that. And Ginger Flame back up, and there goes Aria onto that ladder. Ginger Flame going up to the top rope. What does she have in mind? Something Glix is going to try to stop. Didn't do well enough, and I think Glix thought she'd stunned Ginger Flame a little more than she had there. Double-handed axe slam over the top from Ginger Flame. Drives back, and there goes a spear from Ginger Flame to Glix. This might be the opportunity that this team needs if she can capitalize. Jeneth busy on the outside with Aria. Glix stunned on the canvas. Can she set the ladder up in time? Glix looks like she's recovering. I don't think she quite got the positioning right. Realize Glix is back up. Flying elbow off the top. Aria, I think, just playing keep away on the outside there. Using that ladder to have absolutely nothing to do with Jeneth. Bouncing her off of it. Oof. Down goes Jeneth, bouncing her jaw off that ladder. Glix waiting for Ginger Flame to get back to her feet and bounces her off the ropes and misses missed that boot attempt, but didn't matter. Landed Ginger Flame right onto that other propped up ladder. Aria sends Jeneth back into the ring. Maybe not the best idea. Keeping her busy on the outside probably would have been a better strategy, but they are still up 2-on-1 situation in the ring now. Over she goes. Jeneth now stunned. Best opportunity this team has had yet, but again, that prone body. Ginger Flame doing a great job of keeping herself in the way. Spear by Aria Nightvalley. Jeneth stunned down on the outside. Glix seemingly having something in mind, but Aria taking her opportunity. Didn't want to let Glix do that. Maybe a miscommunication between the more vibrant, colourful team. Jeneth has given up. Jeneth has a steel chair. Jeneth just wants to inflict pain now. And Aria once again trying to set that ladder up. And now it's Jeneth's turn to go crashing down onto that suspended ladder. Ginger Flame makes her way into the ring, takes a chair to the face by Aria for her troubles. Oh, and Jeneth baited Glix into that dive, causing Glix to send herself onto that ladder. Brilliant strategy by Astoria. Meanwhile, the Ginger Flame in the ring has regained control. Ginger Flame and Jeneth now very much back in control. What does she have in mind? This is going to be bad for Glix, I think. Just showing off the sheer power of Jeneth. And down onto the decking. Fortunately, not through the ladder. Meanwhile, back in the ring, Aria waiting for the Ginger Flame to get back up. Plants her Smack in the middle of the ring. Jeneth, I think, has realized what's gone on. Not about to let Aria capitalize. Drop kick sending her into the corner. Tied up through that ladder. And just football punting Aria's leg as it was tied up in the ropes there. Now Glix in a 2-on-1 situation. Is this now going to be an opportunity for Ginger Flame and Jeneth to put this to bed? Jeneth once again going for Glix and just bouncing her into that clubbing blow to the base of the neck. Ginger Flame there to capitalize. Momentary technical difficulties. We'll be right back with the action in just one moment. There we go. Took care of that. Does make me wonder, though, with this being another #1 contendership match, technical difficulties during it, I cannot help but wonder if this is somehow related to what's been going on with Battlestar. But meanwhile, we can focus on that later. Jeneth maybe knocked out on her feet. Sent out of the ring by Glix. Ginger Flame still there in the center of the ring, hoisted up, and big power bomb by Glix and running knee. And there's another ladder fetched by Aria Nightvalley. There goes that running kick by Glix. Jeneth still stunned on the outside. Is this going to be it? Is this going to be the moment? It's not. Aria going for the steel chair, wanting to do more punishment to the Ginger Flame. Jeneth looking to maybe capitalize. Climbing up Glix there. Wait, she's going to take care of that. But with that ladder in position now, I think Ginger Flame going to try to save Jeneth. Took a steel chair to the face for her troubles. And Glix now capitalizing with that rapid climb up the ladder. Aria in the way, trying to keep her busy. Can Ginger Flame get... Ginger Flame not noticing, I think, that Glix is even up there. She's focused on Aria. This might well be it. Jeneth stunned in the corner. Ginger Flame finally, I think, realized what's going on, but it may well be too late. Dives up, punching Glix in the butt. The focus lost by the Ginger Flame. You have to say, Her Royal Highness the Ginger Flame cost herself that title shot. Too laser focused on assaulting Aria. Glix able to win the match for her team, which means Jennifer Storio will be facing Aria Nightvalley for the $1 million championship.
Here are your winners.
What a hard-hitting match. These two working surprisingly well together as well. But we will be back momentarily. More singles action as two competitors who know each other very, very well, training together in their previous AIW days. Faria Ahmed takes on Calypso Dominguez after these quick messages. We'll be right back.
Luz tried everything to open the door, but it wouldn't budge. Hammers, axes, magic, saws, more magic, fire, even more magic, and magic explosions. Still, the door refused her. Why? After all this time and effort, why wouldn't the damn thing open? Sure, it was an enchanted door that would open the path to a potentially catastrophic amount of magic pouring back into the universe, causing endless natural disasters that would drown or bury most cities from existence. But there was an equally high chance that wouldn't happen, and that the magic had been sealed away by ignorant fools for nothing. She had to believe there was a reason why she could tap into a sliver of the magic locked behind the door. That this was it, her singular life purpose. Open the door, restore its magic back to everyone like it used to be in the stories, where anyone could use magic, for good or bad. That had to be it, right? That had to be why she was standing here, in the door's pocket dimension, on a small plot of Earth, large enough for only one person to stand in front of it, swearing at this void black door with iridescent veins flowing along its surface like water, living, taunting her to just open it already. So why was it so hard to swing the damn thing wide? Somehow, she had shoved the door apart just a crack ages ago. A thin, wispy line of light seeped out of a seam down the centre. Whenever she used teleportation magic, as she had decided to call it since she didn't know the correct term and hadn't seen others use it before, probably because it was dangerous and required sliding through space and time, but who was counting? She tapped into a sliver of warmth and power to travel wherever she wished. She'd managed that slight opening unthinking as a child, then never again. What was she doing wrong now? Worse, what if she wasn't doing anything wrong? What if this door wasn't meant to open for her after all? What else could there be for her but this? After everything, after all that searching, what else could there be?
This has been an extract from The Void Door by V.M. Ayala. To read the full story, please visit beneath-ceaseless-skies.com and search for issue 378. And thank you for watching Masterpiece Theatre.
Welcome back, welcome back.
The following is scheduled for one fall. Making her way to the ring from Mumbai, India, the specialist, Faria Ahmed.
Two competitors who know each other extremely well, trained together in their early careers, Faria Ahmed and Calypso Dominguez, both looking to reverse the ill fortunes they've had of late. I can also confirm now we've been keeping the two apart and finding out some information as to what happened with Battlestar and Michaela. We'll get into that momentarily as this match gets underway.
Representing the Dangerous Alliance from Harlem, New York, the bombshell, Cali Dominguez.
Accompanied by her sister, a matchup that these two have watched many times, often against the desires of Teresa, who did not wish for her sister to enter the wrestling business, but Calypso saw her way in regardless. This time making her way out to keep an eye on her sister as she takes on a very familiar competitor to her. And we are off, locking up in the middle of the ring, and look at the athleticism from Calypso Dominguez right out of the gate. Though Faria ducking back, able to dodge through, A little bit of a quicker maneuver there with Calypso on the strikes, but now Faria lighting up with strikes of her own. Ties Calypso up, and up she goes and down over the knee. As I was saying at the opening of this match, we do have some information as to why Battlestar believed Michaela had something to do with what was done to her. Apparently, there was evidence discovered in Michaela's locker underneath all of the half-discarded sausage rolls. There's a stash of spell scrolls, many of which were to cast a hold person type ability. However, after her protestations and backed up by me myself, I can assure you all, as I have assured Battlestar, Mac is terrified of magic. We have a 1 pinfall attempt by Faria, 2 Calypso kicks out at 2. Not only does Mac have a deep-rooted fear of magic, I'm not even sure she can read. There's absolutely no way that she would have been willing or able to cast that ability. Indeed, the reaction of Mac to realizing that there had been spell scrolls in her locker proved to Battlestar that it was not her. The look of sheer fear and trepidation. She's not that good of an actress, I promise you. Which now raises 2 questions in Battlestar's investigation. 1, who tried to frame Michaela? And 2, knowing now that there were scrolls provided means that the perpetrator does not necessarily have their own innate magical abilities, so the pool of potential culprits has been blown wide open. Meanwhile, focusing on this match, looking at the sheer athleticism of Faria, but she's done this before. She's done this many, many times. The arrogance of Faria, the taunting, has been her undoing in many of her matches here. And right now, she has done it yet again. Her pausing to taunt the audience gave Calypso the time to reverse the fortunes in this match. And over Faria goes, planting Calypso down into the mat. Got her locked up and down, plants Calypso. Lights out maybe, staring up at the ceiling. Could that be it? 2, I think it might be. Faria puts away Calypso as her sister looks on. A final break in the misfortunes of Faria, but that is not going to be something that sits well with Calypso. A mark in the win column in these two's long-standing history. Plants Calypso with the move she calls Durga's Wrath.
Here is your winner, the specialist, Faria.
But is that going to result in Faria attracting the wrath of Teresa Dominguez? Will that mark a shift in fortunes for Faria as her career here in All Influencer Wrestling moves on? But speaking of shifts in fortune, that is going to be exactly what happens to one of our competitors in our main event up next. The 8 individuals who failed to qualify for one of the 2 Drama Bomb ladder matches. One of them will get a second shot at glory. One of them will be the last one standing in the ring and join 7 others to compete for the Drama Bomb briefcase. We will be right back with our main event after these messages.
Luz tried everything to open the door, but it wouldn't budge. Hammers, axes, magic, saws, more magic, fire, even more magic, and magic explosions. Still, the door refused her. Why? After all this time and effort, why wouldn't the damn thing open? Sure, it was an enchanted door that would open the path to a potentially catastrophic amount of magic pouring back into the universe, causing endless natural disasters that would drown or bury most cities from existence. But there was an equally high chance that wouldn't happen, and that the magic had been sealed away by ignorant fools for nothing. She had to believe there was a reason why she could tap into a sliver of the magic locked behind the door. That this was it, her singular life purpose. Open the door, restore its magic back to everyone like it used to be in the stories, where anyone could use magic, for good or bad. That had to be it, right? That had to be why she was standing here, in the door's pocket dimension, on a small plot of Earth, large enough for only one person to stand in front of it, swearing at this void-black door with iridescent veins flowing along its surface like water, living, taunting her to just open it already. So why was it so hard to swing the damn thing wide? Somehow, she had shoved the door apart just a crack ages ago. A thin, wispy line of light seeped out of a seam down the centre. Whenever she used teleportation magic, as she had decided to call it since she didn't know the correct term and hadn't seen others use it before, probably because it was dangerous and required sliding through space and time, but who was counting? She tapped into a sliver of warmth and power to travel wherever she wished. She'd managed that slight opening unthinking as a child, then never again. What was she doing wrong now? Worse, what if she wasn't doing anything wrong? What if this door wasn't meant to open for her after all? What else could there be for her but this? After everything, after all that searching, what else could there be?
This has been an extract from The Void Door by V.M. Ayala. To read the full story, please visit beneath-ceaseless-skies.com and search for issue 378. And thank you for watching Masterpiece Theatre.
Welcome back to our main event. Again, one of these competitors will be making their way into the Drama Bomb ladder match.
Battle Royal! Making his way to the ring, representing Team Bring It, from parts unknown, weighing in at 169 pounds, Rage.
Avric, Brightmoon. Furious at his loss to Handsome Hank, who is in the field already. Will this be his opportunity to avenge himself? Of course, his childhood friend Pip is also in this match, as is Beautiful Bob, Hank's tag team partner.
From Minnesota, weighing in at 268 pounds, Steve Unpredictable Sparks.
Someone who was very, very happy to get a second shot, Steve Sparks. Blocked from his own entry by Chris Cinneas as part of his own warpath against those who injured Stephen Joyce. Stephen himself also getting a second shot at entering this ladder match. There is a lot of people in this match who have a lot of reason to want that shot, but only one will be standing tall at the end.
from Truth or Consequences, New Mexico, weighing in at 200 pounds, the X Factor.
And making his way down, a newer arrival here in AIW, Sevius Doom. Lost to the Phantom in his qualifier match. This a second shot for one of our newest clout chasers. The producer to the stars, DC Lasser, lost in his qualifying match against Brock. DC here with an opportunity to stash a bomb under that hat. Will DC Lasser be able to produce a victory and secure himself that final shot in the Drama Bomb ladder match? As a reminder, that field so far: Gabriel Van Hessel, Chris Cinneas, Brock, The Golden Ticket, Big Magic Reynolds, The Phantom, and Handsome Hank. One of these men will be joining them. Who's it going to be? A man who has spent his entire career in all-influencer wrestling right around the top of the card.
Weighing in at 242 pounds, Riddle
Renace has come within grasping distance of the Soul Clout Championship multiple times in his career thus far, but has always just fallen short. Will the Drama Bomb be what he needs to reverse his fortunes? All style, plenty of substance. Renace Crimson did very, very well for himself in our first ever Battle Royal to crown our inaugural champion, which was of course won by Abel Therron, who remains our Soul Clout champion.
And from Edinburgh, Scotland, weighing in at 158 pounds, Stephen Joyce.
And here he is, recently returned after sustaining injuries at the premium live event Clash for Charity. Fan favorite Stephen Joyce. His return to All Influencer Wrestling met with much celebration by the AIW universe. Unfortunately, did not manage to earn his entry into that match, distracted by a brawl on the outside that broke out between Chris Cinneas and Steve Sparks. The Witch Hunter Gabriel Van Hessel able to score a victory over Stephen in his return match. Will this be his ticket to the Drama Bomb?
Machines, weighing in at 215 pounds.
Gyrating his way down to the ring, Avric's childhood friend, Tiff. If there is anybody who knows how to drop a drama bomb, it's Tiff. Their friend Ashapal already in the field on the other side, as I mentioned before. They would love to have either Tiff or Avric into the match and both bombs be in the possession of these Iman orphans. Tiff's leather trousers there, proving the talent of these seam workers we have here at AIW. Incredible costume crafters. Don't know how they don't swarm.
Activating combat mode.
And once again, it appears that the deadly duo have given us the wrong music.
From New Mexico,
Coming out to the wrong theme. We will fix that at some point. But beautiful Bob, one half of the deadly duo. Tag partner Handsome Hank already in the field. Will Bob be joining Hank? You have to imagine, even though only one can win, a tag team entering together certainly has to give an advantage. Will we see that right here in this very match between Tiff and Avric? Will we, of course, also see a hat-based throwdown between Stephen Joy's Master of the Tiny Hat and the Hatamancer DC Lacer? Everyone immediately splitting off. It's just going to be sheer chaos in this ring. Reminder, this being a battle royal, one competitor will be eliminated at a time by being thrown over the top rope until only one remains. And DC looking, I think, maybe to get rid of Tiff immediately. Bouncing him off, though. Tiff able to hang on. Bounced back into the ring. And Stephen Joy's big kick to Steve Sparks. A long history between these two. Renace trying to rip the headset off of Stephen Joyce. It's going to take more than that. That headset does not come off. Glued on in the holes where Stephen's ears should be. And Stephen taking advantage of Renace's hubris, getting onto the turnbuckle to taunt in a match like this is a very risky maneuver. Stephen catching Renace off of that backswing, head scissors takedown. Beautiful Bob locking up with Sevius. DC has Tiff into the corner. Drop kick from Stephen to Avric. That's okay, you don't have to jump very high. Nobody really taking control. It is just sheer chaos. Bodies flying everywhere. Another head scissors by Stephen to Renace. Locks up around beautiful Bob. Sends him into the corner. Could this be an opportunity for Stephen to get the first elimination? Meanwhile, Tiff cracking Steve Sparks over his knee. Oh, it looks like Renace is trying to get Sevius out of the ring. Can he overpower him? DC Lacer there to help. Temporary team up, and that is it. Sevius Doom is out. First elimination. That type of temporary team-up is something we're going to probably see a lot. Tiff there, also taking the time to taunt on that top turnbuckle. Very dangerous maneuver, but Tiff never been one for self-preservation as I understand it. Avric now locking up Steve Sparks into the corner. DC bouncing off. Hatching over beautiful Bob. Hat slam by Stephen Joyce to Steve Sparks. Can he capitalize? Can Looks like Sparks is just down on the outside. Avric's got him in some sort of maneuver. Avric going for the arm there. Tiff, meanwhile, bouncing Steven off. Renace has DC over into the corner. DC hanging on. Can he get out of this predicament? I think he can. Able to stay in. No further eliminations. Tiff gyrating towards anyone who is willing to look. Avric running clothesline there, takes out Sparks. Locks up with DC while Renace turns his attention to Bob. DC got the better of that exchange. Locking up with Avric in the corner. Tiff kip up, proving he has still very much got the athleticism in this fight, but right into a maneuver by DC. Avric just out in the middle of the ring. Stephen Joyce taking a moment to recover on the outside of the turnbuckle. Got back up right into a blow by Steven Sparks, who may be trying to eliminate him. Nope, just bounces him into the turnbuckle. Sparks trying to lock up with Avric, who is having absolutely none of that. Bob's got DC in the corner. Stephen Joyce, just tramping onto the pounce of Avric's back and drapes over Sparks right into a ankle stomp by Tiff. Bob thought he was going to try to get Renace out of the ring there, but no. That magical kilt of Steven. We have once again technical interference. What is going on? Who is interfering with this tonight? Meanwhile, Avric, in the meantime, knocking it down Steve Joyce. Below right to the face of DC Lasser by Tiff, potentially cushioned by the hat. We had that one early elimination. Avric's out. He's hanging on. He is hanging on. Can Avric pull his way back in? He can. Avric just survives. Locks up with Renace. Avric still very much in there. Tiff eliminates Steve Sparks. Tiff eliminates Steve Sparks. Avric and Tiff, meanwhile, working together as a team a little bit. As we are down to 6. And now DC tying Tiff up in the ropes. Could that be it? No, I think he does. Tiff is gone. Tiff is gone, taken out by the producer to the stars. DC knocks Tiff out. Avric not happy about that. Avric punishing DC for eliminating his friend. Meanwhile, the tallest and the smallest in the match lock up. Renace trying to outpower Avric, but he is a dynamo. Over he goes. DC working over a beautiful Bob. Stephen Joyce back up. Watch out behind. Renace is coming. Got the arms around DC. And Stephen's hanging on. Beautiful Bob tried to go for the elimination. Is he going to get him? I think this might do it. Stephen Joyce is out. Beautiful Bob with the elimination. We are down to 4. Renace, Beautiful Bob, DC Lasser, and Avric Brightmoon. Renace, I think, might be trying to go for the elimination on DC. Will the hat save him? Can the hat hold on? He cannot. Renace takes out DC.
A competitor has been eliminated.
Avric, Renace, and Bob, the only 3 left. One of these 3 will be advancing to the Drama Bomb ladder match. Who's it going to be? Renace picking Avric up over his shoulders. Avric able to wriggle free. Boot to the face. And working over the leg of Renace, trying to eliminate some of that center of gravity. Meanwhile, Bob taking a moment to recover. Watching as these two, strategy maybe by Beautiful Bob, waiting for his opportunity. Looks like he maybe has his eyes locked in on Avric, and spear from Avric. He saw that coming. If you want to surprise Avric, you got to come on the left side. The right eye's the one that works, Bob. Sling blade by Beautiful Bob into a drop kick. As Renace hauls himself back to his feet, ties up with Bob. Now, Avric locking in. It would make now strategy for these two would make sense for Avric and Renace to team up to eliminate Bob, given that his partner Handsome Hank is already in the Drama Bomb match. Having those two in together could very significantly change the outcome of that, but I don't think that's where either of their minds are right now. Renace sending Avric off of the rope, up and down he goes. Bob back to his feet. Kick sends Renace down. And DDT by Beautiful Bob, putting in an impressive showing. And another swinging DDT to Avric. He is biding his time, and Beautiful Bob now taking control of this match. Boots to the good eye there, I believe, of Avric. Stops the charge from Renace. Pulls him over to the rope. Can this be his opportunity? Avric takes out the leg of Beautiful Bob. Bad move there by Avric. I think Bob was going to go for the elimination. But core strategy, never been one of Avric's strong suits. He is a ball of anger and fury, and just showing off his strength at this point. Down goes Beautiful Bob. Renace is right there to capitalize. Up he goes. And drops Avric down. Renace has his pick. Both Avric and Bob basically just sacks of meat at this point. If Renace can just muscle them out of the ring, he has a clear path to victory now. He backs up. I think he's going to boot. Big boot. Beautiful showing, but Beautiful Bob is done. And coming, charging out, Renace. Avric, Brightmoon. One of these two is advancing. Who is it going to be? Avric just punching his way out. Do not underestimate the Halfling Paladin. He's got Renace out. It's over. Avric Brightmoon has done it. Avric is advancing to the Drama Bomb ladder match. Seren Ray be praised. Her chosen champion has done it. Avric Brightmoon. Will this victory finally make him decide to get some damn theme music? That team up with Tip earlier in the match proving dividends for our Halfling Paladin. With his friend Ashapal in the other side of the field, there is a possibility that Team Bring It could both come away with victory in these matches. What a contest. The smallest competitor in all of All Influence Wrestling now advancing to the ladder match. Our field for that now fully filled out. Gabriel Van Hessel, Chris Cinneas, Brock, The Golden Ticket, Big Magic Reynolds, The Phantom, Handsome Hank, and now Avric Brightmoon. And on the other side of the field, Banshee, Set Forrester, Presri D, Valoran Anastasia, Kiri, Fenris, Ashapal, and Mary. 16 competitors, 2 cases. And of course, over on that side of the field, Presri and Valoran, having recently formed a team together, that has to be a factor in that side of the field. Will they be able to overcome, or will one of those two come away with that case? And of course, between the field of Brock, Golden Ticket, Big Magic Reynolds, and Phantom, that is a very, very meaty ladder match, with now Avric joining the field. It's going to be very interesting to see how those two play out. And that will indeed be our next event, our next premium live event after a little bit of time off. We will be announcing a date for that once we have everything scheduled. And we'll see you then when the drama bombs will be dropping. I've been Captain Tyrion Guidal, your Clout Missioner. And as always, remember, stay out for Clout. We'll see you next time.